This is Sandra Salivich, founder of Destinos Enterprises, presenting Latin and Canadian destinations. We offer 3 different services: destination marketing, destination management, and general sales agent to travel companies, tourist boards, airlines, and land transportation.
Homemade traditional Peruvian dessert, alfajores, basket of ham, beef, turkey, veggie gourmet sandwiches. Hoagie Ways Catering, phone number 778-245-3007. We want to welcome Gwen Pawlikowski to our program. She had assisted newcomers for many years. All about on how can we find a job or how can we prepare a winning resume. All about these topics in our employment tips with Gwen Pawlikowski. This is your Immigrants Magazine's program, but first, our teaser.
Well, Reiki is a Japanese technique. It's a healing hand and a relaxation technique. Discovered or rediscovered by Japanese.
And the reason is that your network is the place where you will mostly find information, and information is your most critical asset in job search.
Al alejarse le vieron llorar, caminante no hay camino, se hace el camino al andar.
Martha Vance passed for difficult moments as immigrant. She felt alone even being married. She confessed us that her husband's friends did feel her like invisible on several occasions. Martha Vance tells us her story.
As immigrant, I had a big shock, cultural shock at the beginning, and still sometimes I feel like still living the cultural shock, especially sometimes with my relationship with my husband's family. But it's getting better. The worst part is over. Past 14 years ago when I came to Canada. In Canada, very difficult moments because I moved to Yellowknife. It's a small town in the Northwest Territories with a small community, and there were not Latin people over there. Maybe 2 people or at the most. Most of them there were Canadians and other immigrants. So when I went there, I felt like I'm living in an island, completely not communicating with anybody. So it was a big shock. I was missing the language. I was missing the friends. All the environment was completely different. But mostly it was the communication with people. I had a communication just with one person. It was my husband at that time. But no friends, nobody to talk with. My husband's friends, they met every weekend, on the weekends, but they were talking each other, and I felt like it was invisible, right, over there, because they didn't have the patience to come to me and talk and ask me, how are you doing, or, so little by little it was changed, but at the beginning I'm talking about around 1 year or 2 years maybe, because it's very different. We are more open, we are more flexible, we like party, we like meetings, and they are not. They not even talk too much. Especially husbands, or my husband, and now I have an experience with another people here in Vancouver with women. So husbands, they don't talk too much and they are not really flexible. So I think it's kind of a cultural thing. Well, it is good. He's a little more flexible. He speaks a little more. The emotions. This emotional part is very difficult because Latin people, we are very emotional. We try to explain how I feel and try to tell them to understand how I'm feeling, and they are not sometimes open to understand your feelings as a woman and also to explain how they feel. So this has been a little difficult through the years, and now sometimes it's not, but most of the times we understand each other a little more. I feel better. I understand their culture, the way they speak very, very short, like we tend to explain too much, and they say in small phrases, right? So I understand better the culture in general, and also I have more contact with Latin people. In Vancouver, it's more open. There are more people in Latin culture. I feel much better, and also because I have learned how to manage the situations, and his family, his friends. Yes, especially friends in Canada, because we are lacking of family. We don't have family, and friends, they become family, right? So with the time, so it is very important to have somebody to talk with, to share, to go out, to help, to do service, many things. So yes, I need friends, I need people around. Well, not really, not now. I manage my time by myself, but the fact to be in one country with no friends, that's difficult, right? And also I have experienced this anxiety when you go to a different country and you feel very low self-esteem. The esteem goes down right away. Anxiety, sometimes panic attacks, right? When you are in a different country and you are by yourself, right? It was very nice. I learned a few years before I came to Canada a healing technique, Reiki. It was a little strange for me, but when I came to Canada in 2000, it was the technique that opened a big opportunity to work with LifeWorks. At the beginning, they worked, it's a clinic, they work with Health Canada, Chappelle FGI, and other firms, delivering counseling and other services in different towns, communities, and schools, teachers, and all this. So I went there delivering the first months, the first month, just with my hands because I couldn't speak. Actually, I didn't feel comfortable, right? I was trying to adapt to different place. After a year, they contract me as a counselor, and I started to treat people, all kind of people, families, kids, couples, Aboriginal people, and also to understand them, right? Understand what was happening in that community, the problems they used to have as a family, you know, the kids in the school, the teachers. So it was quite a nice experience for me to learn all these cases, right? Well, it was very, very nice actually. I was a little afraid to do a business by myself in Canada. I didn't know how to do or where to start. So I started little by little. So, and my intention is to deliver this, to offer this service to the Latin people, you know, and put together my psychologist part, right? So all the techniques with the holistic or alternative therapies that I have learned on the way since I was before I came to Canada. My patients, so many of them pain pain in different part of the body, but it's because the emotions, they go inside of the body, right? And they stay there for many years. And it's like a psychosomatic problems, because all this interaction with people from different countries and living in different countries is quite strong and difficult. The relationships, communication is another big issue. Addictions in Vancouver, I mean in Canada is hard, is difficult. Relationships between parents and kids, because of the system in the school and the different cultures, right? And also couples, because the relationship with the couples in Canada is different. So sometimes when the couple is Latin, it's okay, but when the couple is not, how I say, international, or the different cultures, right? There's a problems, right? Maybe in the 2 or 3 first years, it's not as bad as later. Well, Reiki is a Japanese technique. It's a healing hand and a relaxation technique. Rediscovered by Japanese in the late 80s. Everybody has the gift of healing with hands, right? When you have a pain, what do? So you put the hand in and you rub. This is to channel energy and deliver through the hands. So, and there's a treatment. You put the hands in different part of the body, and with the time you develop sensitivity in your hands to feel what part of the body is congested. Maybe it's a broken bone, or there's a pain, the joints, and with the healing of the hands, or the energy from the hands, you can release that pain, and also helps to get it harmonized, all the body in body, mind, emotions, and spirit. So it works in the 4 levels. Yeah, this is, and I can say more about Reiki, but this is the main idea. It's a healing technique and also relaxation technique to harmonize the body and also to get more energetic.
Did you come to Canada a few months ago and you are still looking for a job? Or do you have many years in Canada and you like to work in your career and still don't get it? Maybe you need to choose the correct way to find it. Employment tips with Gwen Pawlikowski. Job searching tips is the topic for today.
Hi, I'm Gwen Pawlikowski, and these are your employment tips. Today, we're going to talk about job searching tips, especially networking. Now, you will hear so many employment facilitators and employment counselors talking about networking and how it's really, really important. And the reality is that it is the most likely way that people find work. And this applies to everyone, whether you're a newcomer or whether you're someone who's been born and raised in Canada. The most likely way that you're going to find a job is through your network. And the reason is that your network is the place where you will mostly find information, and information is your most critical asset in job search. So information is really important. You probably want to know which companies and which industries can best use your skills. And the way to find that, of course, is by researching. So probably Google is the best place for you to start, but Google and the internet won't give you the most up-to-date information. And by that I mean the information like who might be going on a maternity leave in a company where you'd like to work, or who might be planning to retire in a company where you'd like to work. Or maybe someone who's decided to take a year off and go traveling. that's the kind of really new, really current information that you get when you network. And that's super important to your job search. So to get that kind of really new information, you probably can't find that on the internet. You have to go out and talk to people. Now, there's a chance that just by talking with your friends or your family that you'll find that information, but most likely you would already know that. So you probably have to broaden your network somewhat and talk to people who work in those companies where you'd like to be employed. So let's say you want to work at company X. Well, you might want to try to talk to a manager in the department where you'd like to be employed. That would be great, but it might be hard to talk to the manager. Maybe you want to talk to someone who might be a potential coworker. Maybe you want to talk to someone who's doing a job that's similar to the one that you want to do. Talking to those people will give you really, really current information, and it'll give you that knowledge about what's changing in the company. Is the company growing? Is the company expanding? Are new positions being added? Is there maybe some part-time or full-time work coming up? So that's why employment counselors are always saying network, 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 because it's so critical for you to get that really new cutting-edge information. Now, the information that you get on the internet is great too, because eventually you're going to have to send in your resume and you're going to have to eventually have a job interview. And you need to be able to show that you're knowledgeable about the company, that you've read the website, that you know something about the company's mission statement or values or goals. You need to kind of show that you have cared enough. So my recommendations for people who are starting on a job search are to take 10 companies, 10 organizations that are places where you'd like to work. And they could be sort of A-list or B-list, doesn't matter. Start with 10 companies, 10 kind of your top dream companies, A-list or B-list, and really learn about those companies. And then try to get to know people in those companies and try to find out what's happening and what the newest and latest moves are. Sometimes employment counselors will ask you to make a list, and that's, I guess, what I'm saying as well. You can start with 10. Some people will tell you to make more, but the point is, the best way to get the job that you really want, the job that you're really looking for, is not to wait for that ad. Try to get to the company before they even realize that an ad might be needed. Try to find that intelligence or that knowledge that says person X is thinking about retiring or leaving the company, and so that position will become vacant. So try to find out what you can from people in the organizations, and networking is the way to do that. That's all the time we have today for talking about networking, and we have to wrap up now. But I'd like to thank you for watching this Employment Tips segment. I'm Gwen Pawlikowski.
Have you heard that song, Caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar, by Joan Manuel Serrat? Welcome to Joaquin González Cardona on our musical segment.
Well, this is a very special song for me. Has a really special meaning. It was written originally as a poem about 100 years ago. And it talks pretty much about what life is about. And it tells you that it doesn't matter how things are, how difficult they look. We go back to what we said. We all make poetry with our lives. And this song says, when everything looks bad, when everything looks difficult, still we can go on in our path making life verse by verse, basically making poetry. Hay hombres que luchan un día y son buenos. Hay otros que luchan un año y son mejores. Hay quienes luchan muchos años y son muy buenos. Pero hay los que luchan toda la vida. Esos son los imprescindibles. Bertolt Brecht. Todo pasa y todo queda, pero lo nuestro es pasar, pasar haciendo caminos, caminos sobre la mar. Nunca perseguí la gloria, ni dejar en la memoria de los hombres mi canción. Yo amo los mundos sutiles, ingrávidos y gentiles, como pompas de jabón. Me gusta verlos pintarse de sol y grana, volar bajo el cielo azul, temblar súbitamente y quebrarse. Nunca perseguí la gloria. Caminante, son tus huellas el camino y nada más. Caminante, no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Al andar se hace el camino y al volver la vista atrás se ve la senda que nunca se ha de volver a pisar. Caminante, no hay camino, sino estelas en la mar. Hace algún tiempo, en ese lugar donde los bosques se visten de espinos, se oyó la voz de un poeta gritar: caminante, no hay camino, se hace el camino al andar. Golpe a golpe, verso a verso. Murió el poeta lejos del hogar, lo cubrió el polvo de un país vecino. Al alejarse le vieron llorar. Caminante, no hay camino, se hace el camino al andar. Golpe a golpe, verso a verso. Cuando el jilguero no puede cantar, cuando el poeta es un peregrino, cuando de nada nos sirve rezar. Caminante, no hay camino, se hace el camino al andar. Golpe a golpe, verso a verso y golpe a golpe, verso a verso y golpe a golpe, verso a verso.
I like this segment, Behind the Scenes.
Que empecé a ver estos seres de luz, o sea, completamente identificar quién es quién. Y eso, claro que me llevó a investigarlo por muchos años. Y sí, me convertí en angelóloga, pero a raíz de que yo decía, bueno, ¿a quiénes estoy viendo? ¿No? ¿A quiénes estoy sintiendo? Y ahora sí conecto a la persona con su ángel guardián. Y sí. O sea, y sí lo hago en un curso, pero si en ese curso no lo ves, o no lo sientes, o no lo escuchas, yo te doy todas las sesiones que necesites gratis hasta que lo tengas que ver. Porque si yo lo veo que no soy psíquica, ni medium, ni nada de esto, cualquier persona lo puede.
Today in our employment tips segment with Gwen Pawlikowski, we have talked about what is the correct way to search a job. What will be my sources to find the job I am looking for? Get information. Get valuable information always. Getting knowledge, you will have more possibilities of being a winner. And you will be more orientated in your life as immigrant. I am Fabiola Palomino, your host. It's now tax season. Personal taxes. Maximize your tax refunds and credits. Learn how to do it the right way. Saturday, February 28, 2015 at 1:30 p.m. at the Vancouver Public Library, downtown Vancouver. Register at 604-720-4262 or go online at www.theimmigrantmagazine.net/seminar02. Problemas de relaciones interpersonales, separación, divorcio, problemas con niños, adolescentes y adultos.
Soy la doctora Yolanda Montoya, soy Clinical Counselor y mi teléfono es el 604-861-1071.
No, esos son maestros, esos pudieran llegar a ser maestros, pero Los Ángeles no, es una, digamos que división directa de Dios, ¿sí? que tiene otro tipo de evolución. ¿Sí? O sea, vienen directamente de Dios, son mensajeros. Y se te da un ángel guardián a ti desde antes de nacer y es quien te ayuda a pasar a la otra dimensión cuando dejas este cuerpo, que el espíritu continúa. Realmente sí, dejé mi negocio en Puebla, un centro psicológico, y dije, bueno, pues ahora sí que voy a probar y si no sale bien o como sea, pues yo tengo mi casa,